Hello, I'm Fortune and I'm making my own game. It's going to be called Chiffon. It's about Chiffon waking up in a field of forget-me-nots with no memory of her past. She goes through this fantasy world trying to figure out who she is. Now, this is a very rough description of what the story is going to be about, but that's the gist of it. For this devlog, I will show off some sped up versions of my drawings and talk about it. First, we will go through the opening scene of the game. I want this game to start with an animated cutscene. The idea is the camera zooming in from a top-down view to Chiffon waking up in a panic. Like she had a nightmare, but she quickly forgets what it is. Since this is the very first thing I'm making in the game, this will only be a rough storyboard of it for now. Animation is very difficult, so I don't expect to get back to it for a while and only adding sound effects later. Probably in the next vlog. I might change the ending angle for a more dramatic one than the front-facing angle. Chiffon meets someone in the beginning of the game, named Reggie. He will guide her on the way the world works and guide the player on the controls. I was worried that it would be a hot minute for me to come up with a final design for him, but it wasn't. I want the audience to love him because he is such a sweet guy and I hope to make that noticeable. One thing I've learned so far is that I need to learn to draw clothes. Granted I can, but I think there's room for improvement to have it look like it's actually all on the body of the characters and not weirdly placed on them. Same with the hair. Look how cute he is! Have a concept for Reggie and I know what Chiffon looks like, it is time to make them pixel. I honestly thought these would be a lot faster to make, but nope. It was just a lot making sure that they all stayed the same size and consistent while trying to keep my own style. I plan on making this an RPG maker cause Omori is my favorite game. I also realized that these pixel versions would need to be animated at some point for little scenes, which is honestly horrifying, but hopefully it won't be too bad. My version of Chiffon was going to have the sprites small and chibi. I would rather them be taller because I want them to be as expressive as possible in the pixel versions of them. have these done, it is time to think of what to do for the next vlog. Since Chiffon wakes up in a forest on top of forget-me-nots, I will be working on making tiles for the environment to make the world more unified with the character. For now, here is everything I've done for the game. Hope to see you in the next one.